So if you're sitting on the bike, the left side, or where the stock ECU side, is where I like to mount the rectifier. Now if you're taking all this hardware out, make sure you put it back in the appropriate spots. We have to use these M5 Allen head bolts for this portion because the previous bolts were not there. So I'm just going to put this through the rectifier and start to screw it in the side here. You can see it's nice and snug in there, it's not going to go around. And you get to make use of this factory ECU tray. So now I'm going to break this down in the front half here to two portions. We're going to have the left half of the battery box and the right half. So right now we're going to work on the right half of the battery box. So this is going to be ground wire, your starter relay, your flasher relay, and your positive to the battery. So I'm going to put the rest of this over to the side, and we're going to start wiring up this one. So while getting this ready to put onto the bike here, you'll see that sometimes you're running into little areas where the wires are crossing each other like so. You're going to have to just break the stickers here, and you'll be able to get to it a lot easier to put it onto the bike. So then you'll see once you break the sticker, these are electric tape. So you just want to cut this without cutting into the wire. Make sure you cut away from your fingers. I don't have time for medical days. Okay, so now I have the ground to the motor. That's one thing you gotta remember, what the sticker says and you peel it off. So now I'm going to place these onto the ground terminal for the engine here. Or for the battery, I'm sorry. So you can see, if you just placed it like this on the terminal, it leaves a lot of slack that you're going to have to tuck away when you put the battery box on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroute these cables behind here, come over, and then come on top of the terminal here and bolt it on, and it'll help get rid of some of this extra slack. Slide it behind here, like so. Pull up. Get both these terminals facing on there. And take the bolt, put it through just like I did previously, and tighten it into the terminal. You may have to adjust this so it sits flush, so you can get that nut on that's in the bottom of the battery here. So you can see now I have the ground going to the negative terminal, and next I'm going to be running the power line, even though I'm not going to be feeding the power wire to the positive just yet. I'm going to do that last, and then I'm going to be running the ignition wire. Same thing, I'm just going to pull the sticker off because I know that this is both going to the positive terminal. I'm going to run it through here, just like I did with the ground. And there's a little black relay on there, you just want to make sure that that fits through as well. So I had said this was a relay. It's actually a fuse box. It holds the only fuse on this harness. You want to fish it through and still be careful. And that's going to go to the positive. I'll just tuck it away to the side right here. in the battery tray. And then also what I'm going to bring through now is your ignition wires, the red and black wire. And again, these are the only ones that you're going to keep from your factory harness, this gray and black. Now when you wire these two together, it's not going to matter which wire goes to what. You can have it red with the gray, red with the black, black with the black. Either or is going to work. And you're going to hardwire these two together. Okay, so next up, we're going to be doing the flasher relay here. And this is the black box with the black and gray wire going to it. On your battery tray, there's going to be a little wire, a little latch right here, I guess you could call. And with this, you can see there's a little groove, and that's going to slide right over the notch. Like that, nice and easy. So next up, this 3-wire right here has a blue with like a yellow tracer, green with a white tracer, and a solid green. This is your fuel sending unit, and that's what is going to run down with the harness here, and it would connect to your sending unit on the tank. Now it's going to tell you what wires will go to what, and you can also go under the ruckshop.com's ATR wire harness page, and it'll show you what you're going to have to hook up to what in order to make the fuel sending unit work with your OEM low fuel indicator light. Next up is the high beam indicator light. This is the green with the blue with the white tracer wire. It's a 2-prong clip. Generally that would go right up to your fuel and high beam indicator light, and it would plug right in. Now primarily a lot of people end up switching to LED lights, so this isn't a wire that you're going to need. Down the road you can either tuck it away or you can cut it and cap them, because a lot of people end up not using the fuel sending light or fuel sending unit for the low indicating fuel light or the high beam indicator light. They usually use a push button start or fill it in with something else. If you plan on using the fuel indicating light, as you'll see on our page, you're going to take the wires off this black box here, and it's going to go into this clip that has a black, blue with yellow tracer, and green. Now this one is not labeled. This is one of the ones that we get a lot of questions about. That's for this if you plan on using the fuel indicating light. You're going to plug this right in. You're going to try to at least. There we go. And the last thing that we have left on this side is the resistor plug, which is another one that you're going to need if you plan on using the low fuel indicator light. This is a blue with yellow tracer and a black wire. And that's going to go over the harness here into the blue or the black and green. You're going to plug that right in like so. Alright, next up I'm going to show you how I like to mount the starter solenoid here. And you can see it's got electrical tape going through it. There's a little groove here just like there is for the flasher relay, and I like to follow that groove with a little cut here. And then I'll do it on the back side as well. And I'm going to run the zip tie through and bring it up through this open portion of the battery tray here that we left where the ECU went. And just feed it through. Probably could use a smaller zip tie, but that's what I got right now. You see it's nice and mounted to it. You can keep the wires hugging close to the frame for when you put that battery box on. So next up, we're going to be plugging in this CDI. Just going to be these plugs right here. You'll see it's a little 4-pin cap and a 2-pin. You're just going to line it up like this. And then the 2-pin. Oh yeah. While we're at it, coming out of the same loom here is the Rectifier. And that is what we had mounted to the old ECU frame. With these ones, you're just going to match the clips up, and plug them in. Now you can see it's a good thing that this happened. The two plugs here are almost pretty close to each other. If you squeeze the cables, or you can use your finger, kind of bend the tabs out, then you can put the male clip in, and it should go in a lot easier. There we go. So now that you saw how I plugged it in, I'm actually going to change it. I like to run it behind here so it doesn't leave a lot of wires out in the open. So I'm just going to unplug it. Plug it back in behind. Plug this one. Same thing, plug it back in. Are you ready for the fun shit? I'm just kidding. It may look like it's a pain in the ass, but it's actually not going to be too bad. You've already gone 3/4 through the harness, so you're just about there. Alright, so we'll start off with this one. It's a light green and a dark green. And that one's going to be labeled the horn. And we're going to be, usually your horn will be on the outside, but a lot of people, they like to relocate it. And I'll show you over here where you can relocate the horn. So you can actually use this hole right here and put the bolt that holds the horn through in. And then all you would have to do is take your two wires, run it through like so, and then plug it in.